Excuse me. Welcome back to Super Sentai Review, episode number 454. We're here discussing episode 25 to 27 of Ninninger. Yes, I had basically made a decision a little bit ago to make my break with episode 27, which, yeah, I'm on break, but right after this video, of course. So, in the case of these three episodes, 25 is basically this, where Fuka is basically spotted by a producer to be in a movie involving Dracula. And cast by a guy named Silver, and of course, suspected he is Dracula because of the fangs. And throughout this, basically, it's like, well, Taka tries to come in because he's Fuka's brother, but it's one of those old-fashioned things where it's basically, think it's 1940s, where basically this boarding house can't have a guy in there despite they have two guys there. Yeah, this made no frickin' sense at all when I saw this. And and throughout this, they do briefly fight Dracula at one point, and he, of course, he's one of the Western yokai. He, of course, is questioned by the madam, who it becomes briefly smitten with him. Yes. Oh, by the way, I should point out that the chief retainer is not in these episodes. Yeah, it seems like ever since the madam has shown up in this show, it's like the chief retainer has taken a back seat in the show. Especially in these episodes. Oh gosh, yes. Where, like, he has just taken a break. I mean, after he pretty much joined the series with episode 13 of the show, they pretty much have had him take a back seat. Just not sure exactly the reason for this. It's just that yeah. I mean, I don't remember seeing these episodes. It's like, he just not here. If they claim he's here, I didn't see him. He definitely was not in. He was definitely not in 25. I know that for sure. The only way he was in 26, basically, with stock footage. Yep, with frickin' stock footage. So, yeah, so they try to figure out, of course, Dracula tries by Fuka, but lucky enough, basically, Kiji made a lunch for her, which that was quite nice of him to do. And so, when Dracula tries to bite her, by the way, and this also was really weird in the show, for some reason, Naki and Yungto decided to dress themselves up as girls, and Dracula apparently didn't notice the fact that he was like a life force of two guys. Because the way he is in the show is like, here is like, oh, he likes ladies. He wants to suck their life force. Apparently he did used to suck blood, but now he sucks life force. Just puts people to sleep. Not really sure exactly, like, why they switched it up for, but, like, there's no, I think I might know the reason why they switched the life force over blood. It's because the show was meant for children, and of course, basically, they don't want to show too much blood in the show. And I'm sure probably the producers probably have gotten a lot of flack. People who make these shows probably receive a lot of headaches from parents over the blood uses in these franchises. But this one, well, it's mostly bruises per se they get, but not blood. So, I guess the life force is more PG than, let's say, sucking on blood. The commenters are good with this, no problem, but not Sentai for some reason. I don't know why. So, he kind of is like actual like Western vampires where they don't. There's no mention of crosses here, but he doesn't like garlic because Fuka ate garlic, or she loves garlic. And apparently he's able to walk in sunlight no problem. Now, those of you who are curious about this, a lot of the time, vampires, especially in American movies, or at least American TV shows, they hate sunlight. They despise it. But in the case of this, Dracula is able to basically walk in sunlight. Now, this actually is an obscure factoid about Dracula. You see, Dracula can actually walk in sunlight, no problem. In some versions of him, I've heard in the original Bram Stoker novel, he actually walks in sunlight, zero problem, just as air vampires can't. And of course, they did have this happen in the Blade Trinity movie, where they had Dracula played by one of the actors from Prison Break, who later went on to play Heatwave and Flash. He walks in sunlight too, so it's not a very common thing about him per se. It's like most people forget the fact he actually can walk in sunlight. Now, of course, also in Japanese version of vampires, they actually do walk in sunlight because they don't follow the same rules as Western vampires. Eventually, he is destroyed, everybody wake up no problem, and there's that. In the KE26, he's like, oh, this episode features next yokai. Not really, no. It is mostly put a clip show of this one, because my guess is, and this is my personal guess, because my guess of this specific episode, this probably was supposed to be the Wolfman episode, but my guess is because there was probably money issues with this point, and my personal guess also is that they had a costume they want to reuse so badly because people like the cat clock monster. So he's brought back here, except it's not the same exact monster. This was by appearing, look at him. Yeah, it looks like the same monster they just brought back. So this actually is that monster's younger brother. And he does not have time travel abilities. He just normal stopwatch. There's also this weird thing where you have Cousin where he's looking for something. It's later revealed to be the hammer he used to basically have monster go giant size. But there's this weird thing when he finds the hammer. He bops Red, who's basically in the lion suit. And then, of course, he goes giant size, which that's interesting because those that are curious, though, has it ever been depicted where Rangers go giant size, so turn the giants? Well, in a way, this is probably the first time I can think that this has happened since Dragon Ranger / the Green Ranger from Zoo Ranger. As far as I can tell, I think it was the last official one to ever go giant size. But this is by pure accident, it wasn't by purpose. Then he still goes giant size. We even have a brief moment where we have the Red Ranger and Zord fight side by side in the same size, and they beat basically the monster that way. And he's dead. And then finally, the very next episode, we finally use the wolf monster, and well, I thought basically he was waiting for a full moon, but there's no mention of that here. It's like he's randomly attacking people, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, this is the guy who murdered my father and brother." And when he mentions him to it, and by the way, he does eventually remember basically about him, thanks to his weapon, the guitar, because the yokai hunters, basically the father and brother, use guitars as weapons, like machine guns, like their El Desperado from the Robert Rodriguez movies. Yeah, in the case of this one, it's mostly put just a guitar sword that also acts as a machine gun. And because the fact it's waiting him crazy, eventually the last ninja sort of expels him because the fact he thinks that basically became a ninja just to have revenge. Well, and of course, basically, the whole team is against basically him being removed as the last ninja because he works hard, and despite this whole little flaw of basically like all thing like emotion, so in order to beat the wolf yokai, Kazuma basically infuses Kiji with some yokai energy, but the ceremony wasn't complete. Then he calls off, and eventually he beat the monster and avenges his parents, his father and brother. And he's officially named, like, he stops being the interim student and becomes the official student. Which, by the way, he's been the interim student since, like, episode 20. And officially, he's official student now. No longer interim, he's officially a student of his now. And then, of course, Madam's like, oh, like, damn, it's like a waste of time with those guys. They all got beaten. And, of course, guys were like, can you give me command? I know a way to basically with ninjas. With more ninjas. Setting up the next set of episodes, which starts next episode. And finally, apparently that can wrap up at episode 36 of the show. Which is the reason why I decided to take a break, because if I did continue this, I would probably have to keep going. But, so as of now, I'm officially on break for the series. Yep, so yeah, that's been a particular view. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, channel notifications. Next up we have is Reborn has been the Machine. Okay, thanks you. Bye.